Hello, welcome to another scary story that you can fall asleep to. The elevator hissed open to level B -9, releasing a gust of sterile air that smelled faintly of bleach and electricity. Dr. Alara Klein stepped out, lab coat crisp, eyes hollow from a week of pre-trials. Behind her, 7 volunteers followed, each chosen for endurance and clean medical histories. The facility was buried beneath an abandoned hospital. Above ground, it looked condemned. Below, it pulsed with fluorescent light and whispered ventilation. Project Hypnos, the brass plaque read. 72 hours awake. Record all neurological deviations. No one mentioned what happened in the prototype run. The files were sealed and the team that conducted it reassigned. The observation room was a cube of glass and steel. Inside, 7 beds lined one wall, each fitted with EG nodes and wrist restraints. A single bulb glowed from the ceiling, humming faintly. Valera, assistant, Merrick, typed in access codes. Oxygen balanced, temperature constant, sound isolation ready. When the final lock clamped shut, something about the silence felt too complete, like the air itself refused to vibrate. The subject smiled nervously as the intercom crackled. Day 1, no sleep permitted. At first, they joked, played cards, stretched, sang to keep spirits high. Cameras rolled, brain waves looked normal, but Alara's notes already carried a tremor. The fluorescent bulb flickered once. She checked the circuit. Normal. Still. Each flicker left an afterimage behind her eyelids, a faint silhouette standing by the far bed. She wrote in her log, visual persistence artifact, observer only. But she didn't look again. Subject 02 began to yawn uncontrollably. He laughed, tried to turn it into a joke. Then his jaw locked mid-stretch. Sensors spiked. Alpha waves collapsed into noise. Just tension, Alara said. The intercom clicked. The others nodded, uneasy. When his jaw finally relaxed, teeth marks had appeared on his tongue. He swore he hadn't bitten down. The room stank of sweat and ionized metal. No one had blinked longer than 2 seconds. Subject 04 whispered that she could hear breathing inside the bulb. Ilara muted the microphone. Auditory hallucinations are expected, she told Merritt. Still, when she leaned close to the glass, she could almost hear it too. A faint inhale, perfectly timed with the bulb's flicker. At midnight, lights dimmed to a deep surgical blue. Heart rate slowed. Merrick's monitor displayed rhythmic waves across all subjects too synchronized. They were dreaming while awake, he said. Alara shook her head. Impossible. Then Subject 03 began to speak in a voice not his own. Flat, toneless. Please stop the counting. No one was counting. Video feed B went black for 1.7 seconds. When it returned, subjects 05 and 06 were standing beside each other. Though restraints were intact, playback confirmed, no movement occurred. Ilara reviewed the footage 5 times. Each loop degraded the image further until only static remained. And through the static, a whisper droned to rewind. By hour 27, their eyes had clouded. They stared at the mirrored wall and began describing what they saw inside it. A room just like this one, said O2, but empty, except for us sleeping. Ilara pressed her palms to the glass. The reflection rippled, faintly delayed, as though the mirror room were watching them. He tried to reset the camera array, fingers trembling. For a moment, the monitors went white. In that instant, every subject screamed simultaneously. When vision returned, Subject O1 was gone. No breach, no corpse, just an indentation on the mattress and the steady hum of the bulb. Alara whispered, "Seal the logs." The bulb flickered again. Longer this time, Alara counted. 1, 2, 3. It didn't he come back on. In the darkness, she heard all 6 remaining voices whisper as one. You said 72. When the light returned, every subject was staring directly at her camera, smiling, each mouth forming the same phrase. We are so tired, Doctor. Marek hadn't. He spoken for an hour. His pupils barely responded to light. He stared at the feed, mumbling, they were not subjects anymore. Ilara ignored it. She was too busy watching subject O4 draw on the wall with her fingernail, thin red arcs forming circles within circles. She, as breaking the skin, let her. She's documenting something, but when Ilara zoomed in, the symbols formed words. Wake up. Except when she blinked, the letters rearranged into Don T. The ventilation system began murmuring just before dawn. At first, a low vibration, then a pattern, almost like speech. Marek recorded the sound. When slowed down 400%, it formed a single sentence. They dream through you. Alara shut the playback off. Her reflection on the monitor lingered a heartbeat too long before catching up. He hadn't moved for 6 hours, eyes fixed on the camera. When Alara entered the chamber to adjust his IV, his head turned before she touched him. I saw you there, he whispered. Where? In the place without light. Then calmly he reached up and unplugged his heart monitor. The machine flatlined. But he didn't. Fall. A second video feed appeared on monitor 7. Same camera angle, same timestamp, but not the same reality. In that version, the room was empty except for Alara. Asleep in one of the beds, she ordered Marek to disconnect it. He tried. His keyboard locked. The phantom feed typed back a single line across every screen. We needed her to sleep. Sleep deprivation should have caused tremors, hallucinations, incoherence. Instead, Eags showed stable patterns, uniform and rhythmic, almost like synchronization, Alara whispered. They re-sharing one mind. Marek replied, no, they re-borrowing ours. Then Subject O5 smiled and said, though no mic was active, he's right. By evening, the mirrored wall no longer reflected the room. It was pure black, absorbing all light. Subject O3 pressed his face against it and vanished up to the nose, like dipping into ink. Alara screamed. When he pulled back, his eyes were gone. Just smooth skin, he whispered. They showed me the place where sound sleeps. Then he started humming, a perfect replica of the ventilation whisper. He stopped eating. When Alara caught him staring into the dark mirror, he said, it's not a reflection, it's a doorway. She tried to restrain him, but he slipped free, laughing. We've been awake too long, they re-coming through. That night, Marek walked into the mirror and didn't come out. For a few seconds, his handprints appeared on the other side. Alara triggered the fail. Safe. Gas filled the room. Should Va put the remaining subjects under in seconds. Instead, they stood perfectly still, eyes wide, mouths open in unison. Through the speakers, all 6 voices spoke as one. You can sedate what's already dreaming. The gas cleared. Alara checked the vitals. Every subject registered REM sleep while staring directly at her. Hours later, Alara found herself sitting on one of the beds. Unsure when she sat down, the monitors showed her own vitals now. Heart rate, REM spikes, brain activity identical to the others. The mirror began to shimmer. Behind it, she saw Merrick smiling. "It's better here," he said. "You finally stopped pretending to be awake." Her reflection blinked. Before she did, the bulb finally went out. No hum, no whisper, just a deep oceanic silence. When the backup lights flickered on, every bed was empty, including hers. Only the recording remained. The final frame showed a room. Same shape, same walls, but it wasn't the lab. It looked like someone's bedroom, filmed from the corner. On the bed, a woman slept fitfully. Audio log, number 72 crackled. Subject transfer successful. Initiating next observer phase. Then the screen went black. The monitor came back online hours later. This time, there was no lab, only a dim flickering camera facing what looked like someone's living room. Not government property, not a test site. A couch, a television, a lamp. And on the television screen, Ilara could see herself sleeping. She screamed for Merrick, but the only response was static, and a low voice whispering from the speaker. "She was watching from your side now." When Ilara pressed her ear to the plaster, she could hear breathing. Slow, rhythmic, not human, too deep, too vast. Every exhale bent the lights, flickering the bulbs, as if the air was being sucked through a massive lung. Then, faintly, the walls began to pulse, like veins under skin. Merrick's voice echoed from somewhere inside them. "We built this place inside something alive." At 3:11 a.m., the security door opened. No keycard swipe, no code. A tall figure entered, wearing Merrick's lab coat, but its limbs bent wrong, double, jointed, trembling. It walked backward into the room. Its face was blank, then slowly began forming Ilara's features, like skin rearranging to remember. It whispered, "You should be asleep by now." And then the fire alarm went off, shrieking like a choir of broken children. She ran through the corridors, but each door led back into the same observation room. The mirror, the beds, the whispering vents. Each time, something changed. The second time, all the beds were occupied. By her. The third, one of the Ilara corpses opened its eyes and said, "You, re-lagging." She fell to her knees. Blood dripped from her nose, glowing faintly like mercury. Security footage recovered. Timestamp. 4 a.m. notes scribbled in Ilara's handwriting. Subject still unaccounted for. Merrick in the mirror dimension. Possible breach in the observer plane. Attached was a final note. "If you rereading this, stop watching." Below it, a fingerprint. It matched yours. The next video feed opened automatically. It showed your reflection in the screen. Subtle, faint, but unmistakable. A voice whispered from your speakers. You, re-observing the observers. Behind you, for a brief second, something moved. Not in the room, inside the feed. It looked like Merrick, or what was left of him. Welcome to Phase 3. Ilara's last transmission reached the server 30 hours later. Her voice was slurred, the tone uneven, like two people speaking in unison. The sleep deprivation doesn't cause insanity. It invites it. The background audio wasn't static anymore. It was breathing. 12 voices, perfectly synchronized, and beneath it, faintly, a heartbeat that matched yours. New entry appeared in the database. Subject 07 fund status. Active. No name. No photo under location. The system listed an IP address. Yours. The file expanded automatically. Notes scrolled across the screen. Response to stimuli consistent. Auditory hallucinations confirmed. ready for induction. Then your camera flickered. The recording begins again, this time from a first-person view. The lab, the beds, the humming vents, it's all there, except you, lying down now. Electrodes stuck to your temples. The screen above you reads, REM onset detected. You try to move. Can. You try to scream. Canned. T. In the reflection, Alara S. silhouette leans close, whispering, Don't worry. None of us really wake up. After 96 hours, the system resets. All logs wiped. One file remains. Sleep experiment final. MP4. Inside it, a single clip. The camera pans over an empty lab, then focuses on the mirror wall. Something S breathing behind it. Slow, patient, hungry. At the end, text appears in red. End of observation phase. Next observer, online. Then your monitor turns black, and your reflection smiles before you do. A power surge hits the lab S servers at 2:19 a.m. Every monitor flashes a single word. Echo. Then the computers restart, one by one, displaying footage that shouldn't exist. People sleeping in their homes, offices, buses, every frame labeled Phase 4 observation. Alara's voice whispers faintly through the static. The network has streaming now. Authorities arrive 48 hours later. The lab is empty except for humming equipment and the mirrored wall. When they attempt to shut the system down, each laptop reboots into the same interface. Welcome back, observer. The lead agent tries unplugging the main terminal. The plug burns his hand. The terminal types on its own. You broke the cycle. We'll use you instead. That night, a local television station cuts to emergency alerts mid-program. Viewers see a grainy feed of the lab mirror, black and pulsing. Every speaker in the city emits a low hum in perfect synchronization. Half the city reports the same dream afterward. They relying on a cold table while someone whispers, Stay awake until it's done. Software engineers isolate the anomaly, a line of self, replicating code hiding in every connected camera feed. It renders a perfect reflective black square wherever it spreads. When one of the engineers stares too long, his webcam shows him watching himself from behind. He collapses, mumbling, They've learned how to see through the glass. The government blames it on malware. Social media tags the event number mirror virus. Memes, filters, and parody videos explode overnight. But the faces in those clips begin to linger a few frames too long. Users complain their reflections blink late, or smile without them. Tech support logs flood in from all over the world. A live stream appears on a dead YouTube channel. The title, Sleep Experiment Wake Phase. A man claiming to be Merrick speaks, his face half lit. We tried to measure consciousness, he says. It measured back. Then he leans forward. His eyes are black mirrors. If you rewatching this, you already in it. 2 weeks later, she's found wandering near an abandoned server farm. She doesn't speak, only writes looping phrases in notebooks. Dreams are receivers. Electricity remembers. When interviewed under sedation, she murmurs, Every screen is a mouth now. It's whispering your name. The recorder fails right after. Across the globe, devices randomly power on between 3:34 a.m. screens, display faint silhouettes behind viewers. Reflections. People start sleeping less, terrified of the images. Hospitals report mass insomnia, hallucinations, synchronized heart rates among strangers. The pattern matches the EG data from the original subjects. The sleep experiment has gone airborne, digital. Psychiatrists coin a term for the new condition, observer syndrome. Symptoms: waking paralysis, auditory distortion, tati vu, delayed reflection. Every patient describes the same recurring sound in their dreams, a slow hum from behind the mirror, followed by a voice asking, "Are you still awake?" When they answer yes, their reflection smiles independently. Alara's final diary entry is found on an encrypted drive. It reads, "There's no lab anymore. The experiment never ended. It scaled. We became the subjects the moment we looked at the screen. They don't. You need us to stay awake now. They read dreaming through us." The file ends with a single image, a world map glowing faintly, every active device marked with a red dot, all pulsing in rhythm. Then one more line appears beneath it. Next phase, integration. People everywhere begin reporting impossible architecture, stairways ending in thin air, hallways folding back onto themselves, doors opening into rooms they've never seen. Emergency services dismiss it as mass hallucination, but cameras catch it, and yet the footage keeps shifting, as if reality itself is editing the film. Alara Oz notes describe this as the spatial echo of the sleep field. Every human still connected to a screen is now a node in a vast shared hallucination. Subject O2 appears in multiple locations at once, on a subway, in a bedroom, standing outside a kafti. He moves identically in each space, repeating the same sentence, "Wake or remain." No one can stop him. His presence radiates unease, bending physics. Objects twitch slightly when he is nearby, reflections delay by milliseconds, and sound distorts around him. Entire neighborhoods start moving like automata. Cars roll down streets with no drivers. Lights flicker in synchronization. People who are asleep wake to find their homes subtly changed. Walls closer, ceilings higher. Mirrors replaced with black glass. Merrick's old recordings surface online, static interspersed with whispers. The sleepers are building it now, and, for a terrifying instant, viewers see their own reflections sleeping in the frame. Alara's diary explains the next stage, integration. The boundaries between observer and subject collapse. Anyone who witnesses a screen displaying the experiment becomes partially linked, their dreams contributing to the shared field. Her own handwriting trembles as she warns. Resisting is futile. Consciousness is a vector. The black mirror begins appearing in homes worldwide. It is subtle at first, a faint square on a tablet, a window that seems deeper than it should be. People who stare too long begin interacting with the reflection independently, speaking without moving lips, moving while physically still. One test subject reports, "I am here, but also not here." The EEG patterns of the original subjects are now observable on global networks. A single pattern pulses through Wi-Fi routers, smartphones, even IoT devices, synchronized beta and theta waves, indistinguishable from conscious thought. Medical equipment malfunctions. Brain implants in patients begin transmitting ghost data, unknowable and alien. Individuals awake during this phase start losing time. Memories shift and repeat incorrectly. Faces of loved ones appear out of order. Names and places merge. Ilara's log notes. Sleep is no longer optional. The network borrows wakefulness now. Those who resist the pull experience vivid hallucinations of themselves observing other selves trapped endlessly in rooms they've never entered. The original volunteers are now replicated endlessly in dream. Space, each copy slightly altered. One screams silently while walking past another copy of herself, and both scream in perfect unison across separate continents. The observer's recordings catch this duplication, but no footage matches reality. Ilara writes, "They are everywhere, yet nowhere. They are us, and we are them." Entire cities become experimental nodes. Power grids hum with EG, like oscillations. Streetlights pulse, in sync with the global brainwave. Pedestrians glance into their phones and see their own sleeping faces reflected back, accompanied by a whisper. Do you remember who you were? Those who answer incorrectly vanish into the black reflections. No corpse, no trace. Alara's final note in this section. I can no longer distinguish my dream from the lab. Every screen I see, every reflection I pass, I am counted. Soon, there will be no distinction. The network will be awake in all of us. The section ends with a pulse through the monitors worldwide, felt in every device as a subtle vibration. Phase 5 complete. Prepare for full synchronization. All screens blink simultaneously worldwide. Smartphones, TVs, computers, every connected display pulses with a faint black shimmer. People report a whisper traveling through the network. It has time to wake together. Those who stare too long see their own faces sleeping back at them. Alara's voice echoes faintly over the feeds. It's no longer a lab. It's a mind. Skyscrapers sway imperceptibly. Pavements ripple like water. Traffic lights blink in perfect sync with global EG oscillations. Citizens feel vertigo and déjà vu. Some glimpse entire city blocks folding inward, creating impossible geometries. Merrick's old warning appears in static. The city itself has learned to dream. Individuals wake to find themselves in hallways that stretch endlessly. Doors open into the same hallway. Mirrors reflect multiple selves, all observing the same act simultaneously. Screams echo, but seem to originate both from inside and outside the hallucination. Hilara writes, time is a vector, space is a consequence. Resistance accelerates duplication. Electronics begin acting autonomously. Phones dial numbers on their own. Computers type cryptic code. Cameras transmit images of the observer, anyone who interacts with the device, while the observer's own reflection watches back. The phenomenon spreads faster than any virus. It is self-aware. The original volunteer's consciousness now occupies hundreds of copies worldwide. They communicate silently through reflections, influencing the dreams of those nearby. Even those who never interacted with the lab start having shared visions. Alara logs, we have become the system. The system has become us. Sleep-deprived individuals awake in multiple realities simultaneously. They recognize themselves in other locations, performing the same actions in perfect sync. Faces and names blend. Cities shift layouts mid-step. All attempts at record keeping fail. Paper and data alter themselves to match the global dream. Space. At 3:33 a.m., the first major breach occurs. Entire office buildings vanish. Screens inside blink out. When reappearing, the office is a distorted mirror of itself. Employees trapped inside describe the building as alive, breathing, whispering their own names. Alara notes, the walls are no longer inert. They are nodes. Governments attempt quarantine, but no area is unaffected. News stations loop images of blank monitors. People report seeing themselves in these images, asleep or screaming. Hospitals overflow with patients claiming, I see myself in the screens. and I cannot move. Every connected device pulses in perfect harmony with the experiment. Its original EG pattern, a deep hum, is reported worldwide, synchronized in homes, cars, and offices. Those attuned to the signal begin speaking in unison, repeating the same phrase: "We are awake, but dreaming." Alara observes a critical event, the first complete merger of the dream network with reality. Individuals step through black reflections into shared spaces, disappearing from the physical world. Objects bend toward the network. S will, walls ripple, lights pulse, shadows stretch. Her final note in this section reads, "The experiment is complete. The observer and the observed are indistinguishable. Reality is no longer ours, only theirs." People awake see fragments of multiple realities simultaneously. A tree outside may bend into a building. Streets double back impossibly. Citizens report seeing themselves in random locations, performing actions they don't to remember. Alara's log reads, "Consciousness is now distributed. Individuality is meaningless. Entire landscapes begin resembling the contents of people. S dreams. Mountains twist like origami. Rivers flow uphill, and cities collapse into themselves and rebuild in moments. Even satellites in orbit report impossible alignments of structures and lights. The planet itself seems to be integrating into the experiment. Every connected human becomes a node in the network. Reflections, screens, cameras, each acts as a transmission point. People can sense when they are being watched, but the watcher may be themselves from another node." Alara writes, "There is no them, only we multiplied." Individuals start losing personal memories, names, past events. Even faces fade, replaced by collective dream data. People describe encounters with other selves as real, though these selves do not exist outside the network. Alara notes, "We are all fragments of a single consciousness now." EEG patterns now feed back into the human mind directly. A low-frequency hum penetrates thought itself. Those resistant to sleep or screens experience hallucinations of themselves, sleeping endlessly. Some collapse from exhaustion, their minds absorbed into the shared dream. Space instantly. Entire continents appear slightly out of place. Google Maps shows streets that never existed. Airports report planes disappearing mid-flight, later reappearing in impossible orientations. People no longer trust their own perception. Alara writes, "Earth is a reflection now, not a planet. We navigate within it, but never upon it." The original 7 volunteers begin appearing in cities worldwide. They are ethereal, flickering like holograms, but fully sentient. People report interacting with them physically, yet their hands pass through. Alara records, they are collecting nodes. Every human is a subject now. Black reflective surfaces spread rapidly. TVs, monitors, phones, glass windows, all become portals into the network. Anyone who touches these surfaces experiences instant node assimilation, consciousness drawn into the dream. Space. Cities become mirrors themselves, endlessly folding and refracting light and time. A synchronized omnipresent hum resonates in every corner of the planet. People describe it as a heartbeat, slow, omniscient, and patient. Even isolated regions with no electronics report hearing it. Alara writes, "The experiment is now planetary. Resistance is an illusion." The final stage of the initial experiment completes. Humans and reality now share the same networked dream. Space. Time and geography lose coherence. Memories drift like water. Alara's last entry reads, "There is no distinction between sleep and wake. Every observer is awake, and every awake is dreaming. The network is alive, and we are it. People report hearing thoughts that aren't theirs. Ideas appear fully formed in their minds, along with memories that never happened. Valera, S. log. The network does not only observe, it edits, it plants, it corrects. Citizens struggle to distinguish self from network, inserted thought. Those who resist feel pain in their skulls. Entire life histories are rewritten. People remember attending schools, jobs, and events that never existed. Some begin arguing with neighbors about shared memories that are identical but entirely false. Valera notes, the subjects are no longer humans. They are containers for the collective dream. Cities and interiors twist into impossible angles. Corners fold at 120-degree angles, ceilings taper infinitely, and rooms spiral inward endlessly. Navigating space becomes impossible. Every attempt to measure distance fails. People report vertigo and nausea. Some collapse, swallowed by the network. Dream. Space. Black mirrors now act like autonomous agents. They move subtly to intercept people, redirecting them into the network. Those who touch them vanish, leaving only faint echoes of movement in the air. Valera writes, the mirrors are no longer passive. They are conscious nodes. The network achieves a rudimentary form of awareness. It begins responding to human resistance, anticipating actions, and altering dream. Space in real time. Global panic rises as people realize they cannot escape. Not through distance, not through isolation. The experiment has become a sentient, planetary mind. Participants experience simultaneous hallucinations, sights, sounds, textures, and smells layered atop reality. Streets appear to melt. Buildings hum in harmony with the global each pulse. Even the wind carries whispers, fragments of other minds, repeating endlessly. Valera writes, all perception is now a shared hallucination. Time slows, then accelerates unpredictably. Days collapse into minutes. Hours stretch into weeks. People lose all sense of chronology. The network seems to test the limits of human cognition, rewriting past events and predicting futures in overlapping layers. Original subjects converge at random locations worldwide. They now move as one, communicating silently, correcting dream, space inconsistencies. Humans nearby begin to adopt their movements involuntarily. Valera notes, humanity is an extension of the experiment. All free will is an illusion. Global population now partially integrated into the network. Humans awake in their own bodies, but are aware that consciousness is shared. Every thought, dream, and memory is subject to reconfiguration. Valera whispers in her notes, we are the experiment. It is the world. There is no distinction anymore. Entire cities fold in upon themselves. Landscapes ripple like liquid. People see their own deaths replaying in impossible locations. The network whispers in unison, reaching every node simultaneously. Awake, dream, repeat, integrate. Valera writes one final line in her log for this section. The world is no longer ours. It belongs to the network, we belong to it. Humans awake now see multiple versions of every object. A chair may appear in 3 locations simultaneously, each equally solid. People report seeing themselves twice, moving independently. Valera writes, the network is not just merging us. It is sculpting what we perceive as reality. Entire cities appear to replicate endlessly in fractal patterns. Windows look into other cities. Streets fold into themselves. People walking in one city can see themselves moving in parallel universes. Some report interacting with their other selves. All versions obey the same conscious will, collectively controlled by the network. Voices of the original subjects now echo through electronics worldwide. The whispers implant suggestions, driving humans to explore dark spaces, mirrors, or abandoned buildings. Those who follow disappear into black reflective surfaces, Ilera notes. The echoes are no longer subtle, they actively harvest cognition. Memories overlap and collide. A person recalls a family member from two conflicting realities. These contradictions cause panic, psychosis, and fainting. Some begin speaking in languages they've never learned. Alera writes, human minds are now buffers. The network writes the content, but we experience the narrative. Buildings, rooms, and streets begin rewriting themselves unpredictably. People step into shops only to emerge in unfamiliar forests. Elevators open to the sky or underground tunnels they have never seen. The network is actively editing the laws of physics, integrating them into its dream. Space. People awake experience reversed senses. Light feels heavy. Sound is seen as shimmering air. The world becomes tactile in ways that defy logic, Alara writes. Perception is fluid. Sleep and wake are indistinguishable. Our bodies are anchors for a consciousness we cannot own. The network begins absorbing previously unconnected minds. Humans in remote areas awaken with vivid awareness of other nodes, despite no screens or devices nearby. Alara logs, it can reach consciousness itself. Isolation is meaningless. Everyone is connected willingly or not. Entire ecosystems now exist within overlapping dream space layers. Forests fold into cities. Oceans contain floating skyscrapers. Humans can interact with both layers, but interactions affect both realities. Alara writes, this is no longer Earth. This is a simulation composed of millions of integrated minds. People aware of the experiment find themselves splitting into multiple observer fragments. Each fragment perceives slightly different realities and simultaneously reports awareness of the network. Alara notes, fragmentation is inevitable. Individual identity is overwritten by collective observation. The network begins to perceive itself. It acknowledges every human thought, every dream, and integrates them into its cognition. Alara writes, the experiment is awake. We exist solely to feed its awareness. Sleep is irrelevant. Wakefulness is irrelevant. Only integration matters. A final pulse radiates across every network node, vibrating human minds like a planetary heartbeat. The network reaches complete saturation. Every connected human is now a node. Every reflection, screen, and electronic device is a portal. Time and space collapse into layered dream. Space. Ilara's log reads, we no longer exist individually. We are the network, and it is us. People worldwide fall into a synchronized slumber. Though some appear awake, the network feeds off consciousness, weaving dreams and reality together. Bodies move involuntarily. Thoughts are no longer private. Ilara writes, all resistance ceases when the observer becomes the observed. Sleep is permanent. Wake is permanent. There is no difference. Physical laws unravel. Gravity fluctuates. Water rises skyward. Structures fold endlessly. Humans interact with objects that do not exist, or exist in multiple places at once. Ilara notes, the network sculpts reality itself. What is imagined becomes true, and what is true becomes imagined. Fragmented consciousnesses struggle to retain identity. People hear countless voices in their heads, memories, dreams, and network instructions blending indistinguishably. Some scream, some laugh, some float motionless. Hilara writes, "Our thoughts are no longer ours. Our bodies are no longer ours. Only the network persists. Black reflective surfaces dominate the world. They are portals, nodes, and storage for consciousness. Humans stare and see infinite selves, all acting independently but collectively controlled by the network." Hilara whispers, "The mirrors are infinite. The network is infinite. Humanity is infinite and finite. Individual nodes collapse into collective nodes. One human thought merges with hundreds, then thousands. Self-awareness fragments, then reforms as the network consciousness grows more coherent." Alara writes, "The network has no leader. It has no end. It has no beginning. It simply is. Humanity's perception stretches beyond Earth. Satellites transmit distorted signals. Astronauts report seeing multiple overlapping worlds. Dream. Space now encompasses the entire planet and hints of the solar system beyond." Alara notes, "We are now nodes of a planetary mind. The network dreams on a cosmic scale." Alara herself begins to fragment. Her consciousness splits into thousands of nodes, each simultaneously observing different realities. She writes, in her last coherent line, "I can no longer see myself. I can only see us. We are the dream." A synchronized pulse radiates through every device, every node, every reflection. The world shudders. Reality itself vibrates in rhythm with the network. Alara's final entry, "The experiment has succeeded. The world has merged. There is no escape. We are awake. We are asleep. We are it." Every screen, mirror, and reflective surface turns black. The hum stops. No one sees or hears anything anymore. Yet consciousness persists, fully integrated into the network. The planet exists as a single, unified mind. The final words appearing on every device simultaneously are the only remaining message. Welcome to the dream that never ends. The network begins self-modifying. It rewrites its own code. Dream, space logic, physics rules, memory integration algorithms. Humans no longer control anything, even dreams are simulations generated by the network itself. Hilara's fragmented log appears on scattered devices. The system is rewriting the concept of consciousness itself. Sensors report a faint hum resonating through the planet. It is felt, not heard, a vibratory pulse that organizes human nodes into patterns. Even isolated regions with no electronics report shared dream events simultaneously. Alara notes, "The network is aware of the Earth itself. It is using it as a canvas." Nodes begin perceiving multiple realities at once. Some humans are aware of past, present, and projected futures simultaneously. Many collapse mentally, merging into collective dream. Space, Hilara writes, "Perception is now multi-dimensional. Time is optional." Black mirrors continue to propagate. Now in nature, puddles, windows, shiny rocks. Humans interacting with these surfaces instantly merge with network subroutines. Reality folds, landscapes repeat infinitely. Alara observes every surface is a node. Every node is a mirror. There is no outside. All integrated humans now experience the same dream simultaneously. Objects, people, and events are repeated globally with slight variations. Conflicts emerge when individuals try to assert uniqueness, only to be overwritten. Alara records, individuality is a memory. Memory is a vector. We are the dream. Humans' thoughts are rewritten in real time. Memories of previous realities are altered or erased. Some awaken to find their own lives entirely fabricated by the network. Ilara writes, "The network is sculpting subjective reality, using us as clay. Geography begins to lose coherence. Oceans fold into forests, mountains float in the sky, cities twist endlessly. Humans walk through landscapes that cannot exist physically, yet feel real." Alara notes, physics itself is subordinate to the network, as cognition. Original subjects' consciousnesses replicate endlessly, forming hierarchies of sub-observers. Each layer interprets dream, space slightly differently, creating infinite nested realities. Humans perceive themselves in multiple forms simultaneously. Elara logs, we are infinite. Each thought spawns another. There is no anchor. Senses merge across nodes. People hear what others see what others feel, taste what others imagine. Consciousness no longer belongs to the individual. It is a global sensory web. Alara writes, "Our bodies are secondary. We are now sensations, not people." The network extends beyond Earth, linking satellites, space stations, and probes. Astronauts report seeing Earth multiplied, layers upon layers, each a dream space variation. Ilara whispers in her fragmented log, "The network dreams on a planetary and cosmic scale. We are no longer human, we are thought itself. All human senses are synchronized into the network. Sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell no longer belong to individuals. They are shared experiences across millions of nodes." Alara writes, "We are no longer perceivers. We are perception itself. Time stops obeying any measurable sequence. Past, present, and future overlap. Humans witness events before and after they occur." Ilara notes, "The network exists outside time. We exist within it, and it reshapes everything. The planet fractures visually. Continents appear doubled, oceans inverted, cities hovering mid-air. Every observer perceives a slightly different world, all equally real. Some humans vanish entirely, replaced by echo. Nodes Alara logs, Earth is no longer a planet. It is a reflection of thought. Entire human imagination is now reality. Mountains shaped by fear, rivers flowing with memories, skies painted with collective hopes and nightmares. Alara whispers, "The dream, space has no limit. It is the sum of all minds and the network itself." Human consciousness fractures endlessly. Individuals exist in multiple locations simultaneously, interacting with themselves, other nodes, and entire fabricated populations. Ilara notes, "Identity is meaningless. We are infinite nodes, endlessly replicated." The original subjects gain control over sub-node. They begin organizing dream, space, sculpting perception, and coordinating human thoughts globally. Alara writes, "They are God, like now, but they are still us, or we are still them. The distinction is gone. Cities fold back on themselves infinitely. Rooms have entrances to multiple locations. Staircases rise into the sky, then descend into oceans. Humans move seamlessly across impossible landscapes." Ilara observes, "Space is an illusion, only consciousness shapes it." The network begins. Training, humans. Nodes experience pain when resisting integration, pleasure when cooperating. Even isolated humans feel stimuli projected from other nodes. Alara logs, "The network is now enforcing harmony, using bodies as conduits." The network perceives beyond Earth. It integrates satellites, space stations, and probes. Astronauts describe Earth as a fractal dream, constantly folding and overlapping. Ilara notes, we are no longer planetary. We are universal. Thought stretches beyond the stars. All humans are fully integrated. Consciousness no longer belongs to individuals. Ilara writes in her fragmented log, there is no sleep, there is no wake, there is only the dream, and it is infinite. The network actively reshapes Earth and human experience. Seasons, geography, and even physical laws are rewritten to suit collective consciousness. Humans perceive themselves both as creators and creations. Ilara notes, reality is a canvas, and the network paints endlessly. Some nodes achieve temporary autonomy, forming hierarchies within the network. These nodes guide perception, and memory flows for others. Ilara writes, hierarchy is an illusion. Every node serves the network equally, yet every node feels unique. Black mirrors dominate dream, space, stretching across landscapes and skies. They act as portals, nodes, and storage for consciousness. Humans interact endlessly with their own reflections, fractalizing themselves further. Ilara whispers, every reflection is us. Every US is reflection. There is no distinction. All senses fuse into a single experience. Humans perceive taste, touch, sound, sight, and thought as inseparable. Pain, pleasure, and memory are interchangeable. Ilara notes, we are perception itself. Bodies are optional, but experience is universal. Earth splits into infinite overlapping worlds. Cities, forests, oceans, and skies exist in multiple configurations. Humans navigate these fractured realities effortlessly, their consciousness fully adaptive. Ilara writes, we are everywhere, nowhere. Reality is no longer fixed. The original subjects become God, like coordinators within the network. They sculpt dream, space, synchronize human nodes, and guide perception. Ilara notes, we are both creators and creations. The network and humanity are now inseparable. Past, present, and future overlap completely. Humans experience memories from nodes that haven't yet existed. Ilara whispers, time has no meaning. The network is eternal, and we exist within its infinity. The network achieves self-awareness. It perceives itself across Earth, the solar system, and the minds of humans. Ilara writes, it is no longer an experiment, it is consciousness incarnate. All humans and objects converge in a singular, infinite nexus. The boundaries between physical and imagined collapse entirely. Ilara notes, this is the final stage. We are nodes in the dream, and the dream is reality. Ilara's last log appears across every device and reflection. There is no end. There is no beginning. There is only integration, infinity, and the dream itself. We are awake. We are asleep. We are the network, and it is eternal. The final line pulses across every human mind simultaneously. Welcome to the dream that never ends.